Hey friend, welcome to the Life and Leadership Podcast. I am so grateful that you're here. This community is something really, really special to me, and it means the world when you would just share these episodes with the people that you love, just so we can impact and reach more people. Don't forget, if you post about the podcast on socials, tag me at Christine Caine and at Propel Women, because we love to hear how these conversations are encouraging you. Now, today's episode is going to be so much fun because I'm joined by the amazing Sadie Robertson Huff. Sadie's a wife, a mother, an author, a speaker, a podcaster, and the founder of Live Original, a movement helping young women grow in truth and sisterhood. Now, I love this woman with a passion. She is on a mission to reach her generation with the love of Jesus. She's just a great, great friend of mine. My daughters adore her, and I know that this conversation is going to inspire you today. So let's dive right in. Okay, my friend, I am so grateful that you've joined us today. You're looking awesome.
Girl, thank you. I'm so grateful. I just love that you are podcasting and putting so much out there. Literally, this morning and yesterday morning, I was listening to one of your interviews. So thank you for blessing me on the daily.
Oh, come on. You're awesome. And
It's true.
honestly, the women we have on here are just kicking devil butt in every area of life. So I love it. And okay, I love you very much like, I was going to say like a daughter, but I kind of do. We've been doing Passion
I'll take
together for a
that.
long time and stuff. And just the hand of God on your life, I'll just gush for a minute because, I mean, you know, we're certainly not just like interview friends. You and I have been in Copenhagen together. We've been
We
in
have.
London together. We've been at lots of different events. So for me, my spiritual mother's heart just is so thrilled that you have just stewarded what God's given you. Of
Thank
course,
you.
I've got two daughters that adore you, and I thank God because I want them to have role models. And so I want to thank you for doing that. And even my husband loves you because of Duck Dynasty. Now, all my team here is like, Christine, how do you guys say dynasty in America?
Dynasty, but I like the
Dynasty.
dynasty. The dynasty adds some flair, some finesse.
It's sort of like dynasty, okay, Duck Dynasty, okay. And so I go, my whole family loves you. My daughters love
That
you.
is
I love
so
you like a
sweet.
spiritual
Well,
mom.
it's mutual.
My dad does, and my husband does. I'm just thinking, I've got so much I want to talk to you about today, and let's start first and foremost with, since we're there, Duck Dynasty. Okay, the revival. I'm going around the world. I'm seeing revival everywhere around the world. And then someone goes, oh, did you know Duck Dynasty's having a revival? And I went, okay, you're having a revival too.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. First of all, I have to say the feeling's so mutual. I love you so much. I'm so grateful for who you've been in my life. I mean, I've looked up to you for years before I even knew you. And so to know you on a personal level is the greatest blessing. And I think our husbands have a bromance going on, which I
Literally.
can appreciate. I love your daughter, so it's so mutual. But yes, Duck Dynasty is having a revival. And it's very cool because similar to you, but not quite as much. I kind of been in all these little pockets where I felt like, man, like there is a revival happening. This is so cool. Well, in the same time, we started filming the show, and it was going to be called Duck Dynasty: The Next Generation, which kind of just made sense because that's what the show is. And then the network actually had the idea and was like, hey, what do y'all think about Duck Dynasty: The Revival? And we were like, wait, that is so cool. And we have felt God's hand on this since the beginning. But that just made it really, because we feel like this is so much more than a TV show. Back in the day when it first came out, a lot of people say that's the first time they ever prayed together as a family, from just seeing our family pray around the dinner table. That's the first time they went to church because they were like, okay, their family goes to church. There might be something to that. And a lot of people truly got led to the Lord through the avenue of the show. I mean, I remember we did a cruise one time. This was hilarious. The Duck Dynasty cruise. And it was like so nuts because it's like 2,000 of the biggest Duck Dynasty fans on a cruise ship. So it could have gone wrong, but thank God it went right. And by the end of the cruise, my grandpa and my dad and uncles were baptizing people in the pool, on the pool in the cruise. And at every port stop in the ocean, baptisms were happening. And so It did feel like a revival, and the fact that it's called that this time is just really significant to
I
us.
think so. I mean, when I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, okay, God's having a revival on the earth. They're jumping in on this revival, which is
We're jumping
awesome.
in. That's
Now,
right.
what made you and Christian and your girls are adorable. Like I just got to say, they're like
They're
and feisty. They're
they are.
definitely not wallflowers.
No, my gosh, they are strong. We always prayed over them that they would be sweet and strong, and I'm so glad I put the sweet part in there because the strength is there.
I love it. Well, look at my personality. I'm like they are women after my own heart. But
Yes, they are.
what made you kind of think, yeah, we're up for this? Because you've got a lot going on in your life, and there's some of that I want to talk about, especially
Mhm,
LO, because I know how influential that is. But you have
mhm.
so much going on. What is it that you thought, you know what, I really feel this is the Lord. This is actually a good thing to do.
Yeah. It's a great question because honestly, it was a hard decision. It was such a blessing to do the first time, and I think after the first time, we kind of felt like that was it. That was great, and look
Yeah.
at what God did, and it's hard to make a second. You don't want to redo something that was. We never really wanted to try to do that. And also, our lives look so different. I mean,
Yeah.
people keep asking me, what's different than the first time? I said, everything's different than the first time. I was a teenager the first time, and now I'm married and have 2 children and one on the way and running a ministry and podcasting and all the things. And to be honest, had kind of just gotten to a place in life where I felt content. Like I was like, we
Yep.
live in Louisiana. It felt like kind of peaceful, and I'm doing my thing. Finally, kind of found some footing after years of
Yes.
trying to start something. And then our family was good, and it honestly felt intimidating to
Wow.
step into something unknown, even though you might say, well, it's known, you've done it before, but there's so many unknowns to putting yourself out there and putting your
Totally.
family out there, and unknowns to doing it in this stage of life with little bitty kids. And so it felt very scary. I mean, there was a lot of prayer that went into it and a lot of family conversations. And I think what finally made us have peace was as we talked to the family about it, we all felt so aligned with the vision of the show and the reason why we wanted to do it. And I kept going back to Matthew 5, and it's like, you are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. You don't light a lamp and put it under the stand. You put it on top of the stand so that people can see your good deeds and give the Father glory in heaven. And I thought, it just convicted me because I felt like, okay, we have this opportunity to truly be a light in the world. Like, not many families who are so faith-based and outspoken
Yep.
about their faith are asked to be on television,
Totally.
knowing how much we, express our faith and aren't
Yes.
shy about it and don't hold back. And so the fact that the door even opened in the first place was wild. And then that they know us, they know what we bring to the table, they know what we believe, and they still wanted to show that on television. We just felt like, man, we have an opportunity to be a light in the world. We all felt very aligned, and our lives, they are interesting. Like, we do all live in the same neighborhood. We actually do all work in the Duck Commander warehouse. Like, it's kind of made for reality TV. So it just kind of all started to make sense, and God's hand felt very much on it. We felt a lot of peace. And so even though, yes, the fears are there, there's a deep inner peace of knowing this is what we're supposed to do.
I'm thinking, because I have a little bit of a up close and personal kind of view on your life. So I know, I'm a few decades down the road in ministry than you. So I look at you, and of course I'm from a stream of the church. I'm got the Pentecostal charismatic bent, so I'm always looking at the anointing. And I'm watching how you've stayed on track, continued to say yes to Jesus, because of course I care and pray for you diligently so much about your calling, not just what people know about you out there. And it's a fine line because, of course, especially you're so evangelistic too, and God's called you to be in the world but not of the world. This is the era we live in. Social media, there's different forms of communication than when I was growing up. So
Right.
you're using the tools of the world to reach the world. Here's my question. How do you continue to keep your heart pure? Because it's a very fine line. You could step over into just making really good Christian career choices versus being obedient to the calling that God has on your life to minister. Do you know what I mean? So and
Oh,
it's not,
yeah,
it's
that's a
a
great
very
question.
fine line because you can actually get on sort of the Christian career bandwagon
Mhm.
and not even be a Christian, really, because there's like, you
Mhm.
can write books, be on conference, whatever, you have a
Mhm.
podcast, do whatever.
Yep.
How in your
That's
heart, now
great.
I'm 59, so I've been doing this for nearly 40 years of
Mhm.
just in a very visible life, and
Yep.
yours is 10 times exponentially more visible than mine and in the
Mm.
secular realm. How have you kept your heart on track to go, this is actually what Jesus wants me to do as part of my calling?
Yeah.
There's all this I could do that could really boost my career, but
Mhm.
me and Jesus know I'm not supposed to.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah. It's great. That's a great question. I was thinking back to as you were just explaining that so well because there is a balance and there is that fine line and what that looks like. And I know a lot of people are pursuing that Christian career path. And I
Yeah.
think that you see when people pursue it as just a career path, it burns out
Yeah.
really quickly
Yeah.
because it's actually a hard path in a lot of ways to
Totally.
pursue. And I think for me, I think back to whenever I kind of got started, even in the Christian world of things, I didn't necessarily mean to. I came from the secular world, but
Yeah.
I am a Christian and a believer.
Yeah.
And I stood up for my faith. I always, was very honest about that. My family was honest about that, which led me to have opportunities to talk about God and opportunities to write about God. And
Yeah.
then next thing led to another. And I was like, I do want to start a ministry, and Live Original is kind of just that
Yes.
beat in my heart. And so grateful for the journey I've been on. But man, it was actually really hard, as you know. And I just
Yeah.
remember after having Honey, feeling like, okay, God, I have to know if this is truly what I'm called to,
Yeah.
or if this is just something that I like to do, or something that, like,
Yeah.
am I pursuing this in my own strength? Am I pursuing this because it's something that am I like in the motion of it? Or is this like truly what you put me on earth to do, what I feel called to do, what I'm
Yeah.
anointed to do? And I really prayed a lot during that time of what that looked like, because if I didn't get a yes from God that this is what I was called to do, I honestly would have quit because I just
Yeah.
wanted to stay home with Honey and could have been an influencer on social
Yeah.
media and tried to, make money that way and
Yes,
not
totally.
even worry about it. And like that could have just been the maybe easier path. But I felt like a deep kind of assurance that because it's really what God spoke over me since I was a little girl. I mean, I would think back to when I was 5 years old and I would get on the countertop and I'd preach. And my dad literally would say, You're just the original, which is like where all of this kind of came from and why I like feel so passionate about women, especially girls, like feeling confident in who they were created to be and feeling confident in their faith and not shying away from the things that God's put on their life. And so because God kept reminding me, no, this is like actually what I've spoken over you since the beginning. This is who
Totally.
you've always been. You would do this if it were absolutely, if you weren't getting paid a dime,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
really would. And do in a lot of different areas of
Definitely.
the ministry. And so I think that's how I knew. And so now stepping into a new phase where, yes, there is another element of fame, there's a TV show, there's this and that. I feel so certain of what I feel called to, but a lot of because I went through a deep time of like asking God and really God sealing that in my heart. And I think that's important for everybody to do. I think we get
Yes.
going so fast, and especially in the Christian where you start getting asked to do things and deals and this, and you start saying yes. But like you have to slow down and say, like, God, what do you want me to do? What does this look like
Totally.
for me? Because there's a circuit of things I can do, but what does like my path look like, And
Yeah.
he will guide your path. The word is a lamp to your feet, a light to your path, and he will do that. But you do kind of have to stop and get on track. And I think that's kind of kept me steady.
I think, and I would say, like you're a minister. You really like it. When I've been to Live Original, the conference, and there's ministry, and I mean, I've seen you
Mhm.
preach, and you. I mean, I think this is still true. You love listening to preaching, and you listen to
Love.
lots of people.
Mhm.
Like it's something that. So God does that. Like it's like it's
Mhm.
something that you're drawn to. You've honed in, not just for a skill, but to get to know God better and to know how to
Yes.
communicate the truth of God's word. Because ultimately, if you strip all of the vehicle away of how you communicate God, you would still tell people about Jesus. Like
100%.
whatever, you would go, anywhere and do it because
Any
that's
Yeah, and I always have, and I think that's the thing, you look
yeah,
back and you say, Would I do this if there wasn't a stage?
Yeah,
Yes. Would I do this if there wasn't a check? Yes, I did do that. I actually do that.
totally,
It's like
totally.
this is what I love. This is what I'm passionate about. And it's also what it's in my legacy. It's what I've seen my parents do their whole life in our home. It's what I saw my grandparents do their whole life in their home, both sides. And so I'm like, it's just who I am. It's what I've always loved. It's what I've always felt
Totally.
called to, and it's something that, yeah, I absolutely love. I still love listening to sermons. Like I said, I listen to you all the time.
You know, and Priscilla and Lisa, I mean, like, I know, but it's my thing is, though, that you've kept that pure heart, which is why I think God's continuing to open doors. Tell me, you've got the conference is coming up September, first week. Like,
Yes.
what is your heart for it? Because when I walked in, Monroe, Louisiana must not know what's hit it during that week. I walked in, I didn't even know there was that many people, how the airport can even handle it. That arena full of all those thousands of young women. And I went, this can only be God. I mean, I love you. And I love Louisiana.
It can only
But
be
you're not
God.
even like in Baton Rouge. You're not even in New Orleans. It's like Monroe, Louisiana.
The best part.
This is like the best part. I love that you're. It's not you don't get there by accident. So there's thousands of young women that are coming with great intentionality, and they're still coming year after year. So what's your heart for it? What's the purpose?
Yeah. It's so cool because whenever we kind of had the vision to do a women's conference, of course, it made so much more sense to do it anywhere else in Monroe.
Totally.
Logistically, not the smartest idea, but spiritually, we felt so sure that it was
Wow.
supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And I think because so many people from small towns, when you get something going for you, you move to the city. And it's frustrating because for a small town, you're like, oh, like, I wish they would have stayed because they're the best chef and they make the best food, or they're the best this. But then when they get good, they leave.
Yeah.
And so I just felt like, man, what does it look like to stay? And I just felt this kind of deep conviction and even faith that God does not shrink to the size of our town. God is
great.
just as big in any town, in any person, in any place. And so what does it look like to meet God where he's at in our place? And it has just been the coolest thing in the world. And I think about, in Acts, right, whenever things starting to go down, and Peter and John are walking past that the beautiful gate, and there's the lame man, and they say, silver and gold I do not have, but I'll give you what I do have. Jesus of Nazareth, stand up and walk. And he stands up and walk. And I think about that a lot when it comes to our conference being here, because it's like silver and gold we do not have. This is not an exciting city, but we'll give you what we do have. And
Beautiful.
to see people leave every year soaking wet because they just got baptized and feeling brand new and freedom. And it's like people just, I think some of it because there's no distraction, because they're coming for the right reason. Because when you come here, it's hard to get here. I like feel so embarrassed sometimes by the stories I hear of people trying to get here. And I'm like, I want to say I'm sorry, but then I'm like, but I'm so glad because I know God met you here. Like the story's so cool. But I think even that pursuit of people just going somewhere to intentionally be in a space where they're going to meet with the Lord, where they're going to worship alongside other believers, where they're going to walk out in freedom. It's beautiful. It's just my favorite weekend of the year. And there's such a purity. That's like the number one word we hear when people come. There's such a purity in it. And I think it's because it's like we really have no other intention other than for girls to meet the Lord and meet community in the Lord and walk out free. And it's beautiful every year how that happens.
No, I love it too, and the worship is so. I mean, you really encounter God. You're not playing. It's not like we're putting on a show for people. We're not playing. That's what I mean. I walked into that arena and went, God is here. I mean, it's just, and you guys are prayed up, and young women are truly saved and find freedom and purpose. So I just think it's it is absolutely phenomenal. How do you remain passionate? So, how many kids did you have when you started the conference?
I did not have. Okay, so when I first started the conference, the idea of the conference, I guess we didn't have any kids, and we did like a virtual conference because it was like 2020.
Okay.
And then we planned our first in-person conference for 2021, which I ended up having Honey. So our first conference, I was 3 months postpartum with Honey, and I look back and I'm like, that was so wild, but it was so sweet. So every conference, me and Honey, and now Haven, we take a picture in the box that we do every year, and it's so special because it's grown with our kids. It's really sweet.
So this is year 5 or 6?
Yeah, this is year 5, I believe.
And
Um,
and you will have 3 kids. I think
yes,
that's
that is
hilarious. In
so
5 years.
crazy. It is so crazy. Yeah, we're not wasting time down here. We are just having our kids, and hey, it's been so fun though. They love it. Honey actually has been preaching. You would love to hear it. We have a little Monday night Bible study thing, and it's called the Hub. We meet at the Hub, and she said, "Mommy, can I preach at the Hub this Sunday?" And I said,
Okay.
"Yes, absolutely." And she got up there and she said, I don't know everything about Jesus, but I know that he died and then he came back to life." And everybody just went
Oh,
like crazy. It
I'm
was
running a lap
amazing.
right now.
It was amazing. It was so sweet. So she's on fire now. And she said she's ready for LO conference. She might preach, so we'll see.
Man, that will be the winner. You'll have to resign. You'll have to retire after that. Is
Yeah,
she
well,
is
she
she
can
ex-
take my place this time.
is she excited about another baby to the family?
Oh, she's thrilled. She is the best big sister, and she is so excited. It's just gonna be awesome. We're so thankful. I have to say, oh, sorry. I was
No,
just
go.
gonna say, just since I know this is a leadership
Yeah.
podcast, I was thinking about when you asked me that about the small town. I was listening to a completely different type of podcast last week. It's called How I Built This, and they interview entrepreneurs who have big businesses and say, "How did you build it?" And they were interviewing Jenny's Ice Cream, actually, the
Oh,
lady who
yum.
started Jenny's Ice Cream. And they asked her, why did you do it in a small town? Like, don't you think you maybe would have had more success if you would have launched in a big city? And then they, of course, caught themselves and said, well, I mean, you're doing pretty well, so maybe not. And she said, why would I not do it in a small town? She said, I pass dairy farms every day. I'm always looking at these dairy farms. I had this idea for ice cream. And she said, if you do something in a big city, sometimes, if I did an ice cream shop in a big city, I would just be another ice cream shop in a big city. But because I did it in the small town, you should have seen the excitement around the town, how they got behind it. And I related to that so much because
Wow.
I did feel like if we do a conference in a big city, there's a lot of conferences in big cities,
Yes.
and we're another one, and that's okay, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just another one. But when we do it here, it is so cool to see the family of God come together
Oh,
because we
totally.
literally need everybody. Like our team is so small. So we have so many volunteers, all the churches get involved. Every coffee shop has like a Hello Sister drink. Every bakery has an Hello Sister cookie. Like all of the flower shops are donating flowers for the conference. And like to see the family of God operate in such a way where everybody brings their gifting is just priceless. And so I just wanted to encourage people again, like, do not limit what God can do because of your limitations around you, because God will bring what you need to, fulfill the dream he put in your heart. And you're going to be blown away. It keeps your faith high too, because you're like, okay, God, if this is going to happen, I need you to do boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden you
does.
meet this person and that person, and all of a sudden it's this beautiful, beautiful gift in front of you.
I love what you're saying because ultimately God's going to bless what he asked for, where he asked for it. So it's really
Yep.
not even ours. I mean, there are miracles that happen in Scripture in big cities, and there are miracles in small towns. And Paul,
Yep.
on his missionary journeys, went to big cities and he went to small towns. So you don't even know. And Ecclesiastes says, you better do everything you can, both with your right and your left hand. You don't know which one God's going to bless. But if I
Yes.
guarantee you, in just my experience, that if you actually, unless the Lord told you specifically, but if you removed Elo out of Monroe and he never told you to, but you just, because it's a good strategy, you watch it tank. Like it
Yeah.
truly,
No,
it's like
seriously.
it would tank. But Nick and I, different A21 offices in different cities around the world, that consultants literally said to us, it will be impossible. You should never do it there. It's never going to. And they're our biggest offices, and the most amount of people have been rescued and traffic has gone
So
to
true.
jail, because you have to be obedient to actually what God tells you to do. And the
100%.
results are up to him. It's not like it's, and again, I think, you and I had that conversation about career and calling. That's the difference, because your metrics can't always be the world's career metrics. Like,
Nope.
if God doesn't want you to have 30,000 people in Dallas because he wants you to have 5,000 people in Monroe, that's
Yep.
what he's going to bless. And that's the
Yep.
seed that he's going to do it. So I think your faithfulness there is awesome. I'm also smiling because who would have known duck whistles would have done so well in a country town?
Who would have known?
That's like that would have happened. I want to just know before we round up, how did Christian go stepping into, like, was this the stuff he loved to do anyway? Duck hunting, the things?
No.
Because the guy's
not.
like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
He is clean shaven.
Yes.
He started growing a beard the first time. I was like, no.
It's not gonna
Like,
happen.
I married you clean shave. Like, I like your clean cut. Let's not go crazy, you know. But no, he definitely is all into it now. He loves to hunt. He's had the best time filming with our family. It has been so fun to see him just thrive in where we live, and it's home for both of us. At first, it's my home, and I'm like, oh yeah, I feel bad. We're moving to not your home, and it's my home, and it just quickly became home for both of us, and seeing him thrive with our family is so sweet. But yeah, it was definitely new to Christian. He didn't grow up quite the same way. But the important things, we did grow up similar, but all the other stuff, very different.
I love that. Well, just before we wrap up, give people a taste. Okay, what is it that we can expect that you're allowed to tell us?
Okay, what I can tell you is it is going to be such a fun show to watch with your family. We've been watching each episode with our kids as we've gotten just the edited versions of the show. And every single night, Honey asks if we can watch Duck Dynasty, and Haven says, Dynasty, Dynasty. Oh. They love it, and they laugh, and they quote it, and they think it's so funny. And it's just so refreshing to have a show that's for adults, but it's safe for kids, which was what Duck Dynasty was. And now I'm so thankful we were able to do that again, because not many shows your whole family sits around the table and on the couch and you all laugh. And I think that you'll laugh. We have some serious moments, and some more reality of what we're walking through, which I'm thankful to kind of show that side of things too. But it's going to be a sweet journey to go on, and we're here. Season 1 is here. We're set to do season 2. We're filming it, but then from that point on, it's on the viewers if we get a season 3. So y'all got to be watching.
We will be pushing it, yeah, for sure. I'm going to be addicted. I'm laughing because it suits everyone. I'm saying even on my team, I've got people here like, the coolest of the cool from LA and New York, and they're like addicted. So I'm so pumped. It's
pretty entertaining, I'm not going to lie. And everybody wants to know if Uncle Si is on it, and he is, and he's crazier than ever. And he's totally unhinged. And you thought he was crazy the first round. He's old now. So just imagine how that goes. So that's pretty fun.
I wish you could see what's happening in my recording studio. There people are high-fiving. Okay,
awesome.
We'll all be watching it. Well, I love you dearly. I'm so thankful for your faithfulness. Can't wait to meet baby number 3.
Thank you.
I'm going to be your biggest fan in Duck Dynasty. I'm going to teach everyone how to say it.
I kind of hope they hop on your train, Christine. I like your way better. Well, thank you so much. You're amazing.
Love you, girlfriend.
Love you.
I told you that she is a woman full of wisdom. Didn't you just love that conversation? I love her passion, I love her zeal, her faithfulness, and her commitment. Now, you'll find all of Sadie's links and resources in the show notes so you can stay connected and follow along with what she's doing. Now, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. It is always a gift, and you got to know I never, ever take it for granted. So be sure to share this episode with a friend, to rate it, or leave a review, because every share helps more people to find the show, and the feedback we're getting is absolutely incredible. So I'll see you right back here next week on the Life and Leadership Podcast.
Access more